can taste your words. I can taste your words.
Welcome to the Easy Answer Podcast. I'm Brandy, plant-based chef.
And I'm Vonanise, plant-based adjacent.
On this podcast, we explore thought-provoking conversations around food
And simple ways to stay healthy in this crazy world.
Hey, welcome to the Easy Answer Podcast. On this episode, we're going to be talking about how we can still enjoy foods that may be part of our family tradition, but in a more healthful way. So that's the conversation we're having today. So speaking of doing the best that we can, right? So we know this month is National Diabetes Month.
Yes.
Especially as black people, black women, diabetes is something that hits our community really hard. And a lot of times that has to do with the choices that we make around food. A lot of those choices are things that taste absolutely delicious, right? No one's going to say that a piece of well-fried chicken is not yummy. No one's going to say that fish with cornbread, butter, greens with smoked turkey neck, or even pork shoulder, whatever people put in greens, isn't absolutely divine. But
do the greens have nutritional value after we've done all this? Like, our vegetables are like cooked until they can't be cooked anymore, and the little green beans are falling off the plate, falling apart, and like, do they still have nutritional value, Brandy, after we've done all that?
if we drink the juice that we cook them in, we could salvage some of the nutrients. Yes.
Are you serious? You mean I have to eat the greens and then drink the juice like it's cereal?
Yeah, because pretty much you like boiled it down, so it's like a tea. It's like you made like all that goodness you've kind of like boiled into the water. Like, so it's still there, but it's literally in the liquid.
So you're basically saying that I have to make greens with a little bit of bite.
A little bit of bite. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Your greens have to have bite. Everything has to have a little bit of bite. You can't cook it the way that we like to cook
color. Like, it's like if you've ever, because we've all done it. Either we've had food from family members that traditionally, right, where we've seen, especially with green things, where the chlorophyll is the things that make food green.
Yeah,
well, chlorophyll just goes all the way over, and you get like this kind of muddy, kind of pale green color versus that bright, vibrant green color. So it's interesting if you ever looked, and this might be something that I've noticed, but now that I'm bringing it up, if you've ever looked at a bunch of kale, a bunch of, say, collards, or even like string beans, right? There's a little bit of a dullness to them. They're green, but they're dull. Once you put them into the water or into like the pan, they brighten up a little bit. They become a little more vibrant, right? If you look now, I know you're thinking like next time you cook,
like, you're like, you can see my mind like going, okay, Brandy, what's the knowledge on these people?
And then after they go over, they kind of go into this mudded kind of green, like this mudded kind of deep green or pale green place. It's interesting, and if you see it, like you've totally seen it. Like, think about if you've ever had like a kale, like sauteed kale specifically, like it'll be super green, and then if you cook it, it's like kind of muddy green. So we want to kind of keep it in the vibrant green color palette.
And you are a vegan chef, and you are a vegetableologist, and so tell us how long that is, because I know you know.
It really,
how long is it? Like probably like 15-20 minutes.
If you want that, if you saute at 15-20. Now I know people who that's a little too much bite for them, right? So I know people who have grown up on those like overcooked veggies, and so you give it to them 15-20 minutes, and they're like, there's still too much bite here. Cool. You can still push it. You can push it you can push it probably about 30 to 40 minutes. You just don't necessarily need as much liquid.
Okay, but you need to, things are only, it's just what you're used to. Mm-hmm. So you have to decide that, like, you could do it over a couple of meals or a couple of times. You have to decide that, food is for nourishment. It's also, it's supposed to be good as well. But you have to adjust your palate and just decide that you're not, that it doesn't have to be cooked down to no existence, because it's healthier for you in that way, you know?
Yeah, you
And
get more, you definitely get more nutrients that way.
And I think if people adjusted their palate, that they would see the benefits of it, you know?
Yeah, yeah. You know, you have to, but you also have to be introduced to it, right? So we can't assume that just because we know that there's a different way to cook veggies, that everybody else knows this too, because you don't know until you know. Like it's something that I've definitely learned through this process of like helping people do things. I used to go into these like workshops ready to like teach people the whole world. Like I'm thinking like I'm gonna take people's games to the next level because you know, and people are like, how you cut an onion? And I'm like, oh dang, we on we on like
Yes, because like I said, I do not have your knife skills. So you have to cut an onion for me several times.
yeah.
I completely understand. And like they say in social work, you meet people where they're at.
Correct.
You know,
Yeah.
I am telling everyone this because I have had to do this. I have had to readjust my palate. And I'm saying other people have to readjust their palate too. You know, if you want to live a healthier life. And I noticed that when I got an air fryer, I use it all the time. Like I know that it was like all the rage over the pandemic, right? Because who was really trusting people to be like in the beginning, like, were you really getting fried chicken like that? No. And let me tell you, fried chicken, like it's a dangerous sport. All right. Fried chicken in your house, it is really dangerous. Like it kills people. All right.
Oh, no, come on. You know I need
I fried chicken in college once and got third-degree burns on my arm. It's no joke. All that oil.
It is a lot of oil.
And every year, someone tries to fry a turkey for Thanksgiving in every state in the union, and there's always a story about how they burnt the house down.
Hence the reason they tell you that other people fry turkeys outside exclusively. That was the new rule. Like in the backyard, don't fry them in the house.
Yeah, but it could catch fire to the house or the little shed. All right. How many sheds have been lost because of a fried turkey that we don't know about? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good point.
Because we as a people, or just Americans, period, we love it when things are fried, deep fried in oil. And I'm not saying that I don't love it too. I'm just saying that it's not healthy. You know?
Yeah, it tastes delicious. No one is arguing the bite that the fried food. Like I always say, you can literally fry anything and like it. That's why for me, if I like something fried only, I tell myself I don't like it. So like we talked about my struggle with okra before. I like fried okra.
It's delicious.
That doesn't mean I like okra, because I think you could fry a toe and like it. You understand? Like that's how.
I don't know about toes though.
You could. It's fried.
You know about the toes? I'm not like fried toes are ever good. Like fried chicken toes. Like what we talking about?
Listen, it's properly battered, seasoned, and it's got a crunch on it. You bite into
all it. About that toe game, right? All about that toe game.
So, yes, but I like what you said about the air fryer. I recently got one too. I haven't used it yet. My challenge as a New York City person is that I am surface limited, so I have to be very very specific about what I'm putting on my counter. I already have a Vitamix, which takes up a significant amount of space, so I couldn't also fit an air fryer on my counter, but there was this new company that did a vertical, it's a vertical air fryer. So it's not wide like most of them. It uses the vertical.
Yes, it is like the cutest little thing.
Yeah. And it's 2 quarts, perfect for one person. I haven't used it yet, but I'm going to try, maybe, I'll use it before the end of the month and make something and see how it works. But yeah, so I'm excited to try, because for as much as I push healthy food and plant-based life, who doesn't love anything fried? Fried food is delicious.
I mean, I made fried fish in the air fryer before. And was it the same as like deep fried fish? No, I'm not even going to sit here and lie to anyone and tell you that it was. However, it was a healthy alternative, and it did taste good, you know?
It's kind of like when you bake the fried, what is it, oven fried chicken or oven fried fish, when you get that crunchiness or whatever, but it's not immersed in the oil.
But I think people have to readjust their palate. Like you have to just decide that I'm not going to have that all the time. And I'm not saying that you can't have it. Maybe like if you love fried chicken or you love something so much, maybe you just have it once a month, you know?
Mhm.
and you really go for it. You know, if you
Right.
can have it, you know. But I
Yeah.
think that having it all the time, you know, like in neighborhoods, in like Black communities where we have Kennedy's Fried Chicken, Popeyes, all of these fried food, you know, conglomerates, it's not healthy for us, you know?
No, no, I hear you. Hey, Seven, welcome to the Easy Answer podcast. How's it going?
It's going good. It's going good. How you guys doing today?
We're doing well too.
Great.
Awesome.
Cool,
Awesome.
cool, cool. So, as you heard before, we're chatting about this is National Diabetes Month. We're talking about different ways that we can enjoy some of our favorite foods in a more healthy way. I know you have been, I don't know if you're exclusively plant-based, so I don't want to misrepresent your lifestyle. So tell us, where you are on that journey.
I think I should start with the journey just because that's um and I would love to do a show with you talking about that as well, how political that answer could be and how offensive, how much you could offend people depending on how you answer that.
She's always saying people are coming for her because she's plant-based, you know?
It's
Yeah.
real.
Yeah, it's very real. So let me start the beginning, right? But I said, you know what? Before even jumping into it, let me do some research. Let me, work with other creators. Let them, kind of do their thing. But let me learn more. So it's really the process of learning more about food rather than just being a critic.
Mm.
And the more and more I started to learn, the more I was like, wait a minute, okay. And to make it very, very personal, as a pre-adult, I guess you could say, and a young adult, I was deathly sick every other month.
Really?
A lot of people don't know that, but now you know. So, when I did things in college and did all these performances, and I would always have to worry, like, wow, am I going to get sick before this show? Am I going to be able to do this commercial? Am I going to be able to finish this Broadway production that I'm a part of? A lot of people didn't know all that thing was going on. Now, move forward with learning more about food, started to change my diet, and the more I changed my diet, the more I said, "Wow, I feel really good." Okay.
Yes.
Um.
And you
Oh,
wanted more of that in your life, right?
definitely food make a huge thing. So, with all that being said, to get to a point where I don't even catch a cold when I used to be deathly sick.
Okay, so tell me what you eat. Don't play, don't play, don't play. I need to know. Like maybe pop in some recipes, brother. Pop in some recipes. One day of what you eat.
Yeah, but for the most part, it's well, let me say what I stay away from. No cow and no pork. You cannot pay me to eat that.
Okay.
Like, I would be offended if you put it in front of me.
Offended if I put it in front of you.
Offended.
Like, would we be friends after that or not?
Not if I told you I don't want it and you tried to trick me. You would only go on punishment if you're like, here, try this. What's in it? Oh, don't worry about it. And then we'd have some.
Yeah, because what is that, guys? That's disrespectful. We don't.
Brandy don't play with her disrespect.
Yeah. So, but yeah, what does a breakfast look like? It really depends. Through again my understanding, and it's kind of weird because the show is called Foodcast. The show is just about the journey and not necessarily, about, well, I do this and someone does that. It's like, okay, this is where you're at, because it is a journey. And I really appreciate what you said earlier in the show, where like changing your palate, because there's certain things that I just like, oh man, like with salads, and you gotta add all this other stuff to make it taste good. Well, then you really don't like it then. You're not really eating salad. Like if you're pouring a whole bunch of gook on top of it just to make it palatable, you got to, well, then maybe I need to reassess. So
yes.
Yeah, to go back to answer your question, breakfast really depends on the mood.
Okay.
Because some days I'll wake up and I literally just eat some fruit. And I'll go through a binge, right? I just don't feel like eating anything but that. And then there's other occasions, and I'll have like granola cereal,
Yes.
So really, really depends.
Are you not dairy now in your life?
Well, yes, yeah. So I do almond milk. Have you guys tried the oat milk? I have not tried that yet. Is it good?
Yes, yes. It's
good.
delicious and creamy.
It's so creamy.
It's so good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oatly makes a good one.
they do.
And is it just as nutritious as soy milk?
I'm
Yeah,
not a soy milk person. Soy bloats me. I don't like soy.
Okay.
So I let go of that when I first
Mhm.
became pescatarian, probably about like right after college, like
Mhm.
some time ago.
Old school.
Yeah. But it's really creamy. Like my sister, and she's not plant-based, but she puts it in her coffee and it replaces half and half for her. That's how creamy it is.
Mhm.
And you can get it creamy like half and half.
Okay.
But I
So
will,
that's
I
really
will
great
say
about it.
with oat milk, what you want to do when you're purchasing it is look and make sure that if you can avoid the ones that have oil in it, because at the end of the day, like the beauty of oat milk is that unlike the nut milks that taste good and have a nice mouthfeel, that comes from the fat that are in those nuts. Great, no issue. But if you're looking for an option to still have the creaminess,
Right.
oats does it, but you don't need the oil necessarily. So there are a few brands that have oil in them, Oatly being one of them. FYI, I know that they definitely were first to market. Tastes absolutely delicious. They figured it out. There's another one called Planet Oats that they do a good oat milk without the oil. So just depending on what your goal is on your journey,
Right.
just kind of keep that in mind.
Yeah,
And
that's
also, I don't do cereal like every day or anything crazy like that because you don't want too much of anything is not good, but you don't want that much soy to affect your hormones and other things going on in your body. So that's important too.
And,
Um,
and,
you
and
know.
can I
especially
bring up
as a
this
man,
soy?
right?
Yeah, and I want to bring up the soy thing. Like, and I'm not an
Yeah.
expert in this, but I'm gonna really I'm gonna dive deeper into this because what I've been finding through my research is that the earlier research and data that we have around the effects that soy has on our body, especially how it raises the estrogen, they've shifted because there was a specific type of soy that they were referring to. So they were referring to
Mhm.
the isolated soy protein and not necessarily natural soy, like from like an edamame, which is a source of soy, right? But it's not like isolated soy protein. So I just don't. I just want to go on a record to say that we are still researching and evolving the whole like what soy does on your body. But like if we're talking about soy chicken nuggets, we're not endorsing just eating those ad nauseum.
Right.
How they affect
Right.
you. But I know for my body, just like you
Mhm.
said,
Mhm.
when I have more vegetables, I wake up with more spring in my step,
Mhm.
and I have poor digestion. So when I have more vegetables, I don't have that poor digestion. I don't like to get in details about it because Brendan wants to be all talking about poop, but that's worse than me, you know. But when I have more vegetables, I don't have those problems. Okay.
Because again, it goes back to palate, what you grew up with, what you know. And that's the thing that makes it very difficult. Like cheese is one of the hardest things to move
OMG,
away from.
cheese.
It's just amazing. It's just
But
amazing.
have you tried, and this right here is like
Mhm.
the best Gouda cheese on the market for
Mhm.
vegan people. Follow your heart Gouda cheese slices.
The smoked Gouda.
Smoked Gouda. I've introduced those to people who eat cheese and they're like, this is yummy. All right.
What's it called? Follow your heart?
Yes, follow your heart. They need to sponsor us because we always talking about their cheese. All right. It's not that it's healthy, it's delicious. It's sliced. So you can put it in different things. Like one of my friends, like I said, she's not a vegan, but she puts it in her eggs in the morning. She
Mhm.
was like, this is so delicious. And it is really delicious. Have you tried that brand? Have you heard of that brand?
No.
You need to swap recipes with other people who
Right.
are on this journey. Like we all need to create a community, just like I reached out to Brandy and she told me about like the Misfits. Have you ever heard of Misfits Market?
No. Where's
Okay.
that?
It's like a food service and they drop off organic vegetables to your house.
Oh.
It's only like $35 to like $50 or whatever you decide, like if it's for one person or two people.
Mhm.
And you get a whole box and of different vegetables and stuff, and that could make it less boring for you.
Well, it's funny you said build community because I think that we don't realize we've built a meat driven community.
Yes, that's why people are coming for you.
It's
Which is
real.
right. No,
Yeah.
it's real, but I always say like you do what you do. I know what works for me and everybody's body chemistry based on because it gets complicated. You have your family line, you have cultural influences. If you have ancestors from Central America for hundreds of years that ate XYZ, you're
Yes.
going to take in certain things and nutrients different than someone that for a couple hundreds of years are from Europe or Asia. So it gets more complicated, but there's certain things that we know are fact. Certain things that you eat do feed cancer cells and create problems in your body. That we know is a fact. And
Yeah.
I think that people need to be more open to the numbers, but it's kind of hard when you have companies that are saying, hey, this is good for you. In fact, we're even going to make the school system and other things say this is good for you too. And then when you look at the data, it's not good for you.
Yeah, like my uncle, he's from Haiti, and he feels like
He's from where?
every meal has to have. He's from
He's from where?
Haiti.
He's from IT.
Haiti.
Right. IT.
So he says that he feels
You're
like
so American.
he feels like every meal has to have rice and beans in it. But we know what rice, how it breaks down in your body,
Mhm.
and how that's killing people because when it breaks down in your body, it goes to your stomach and it makes you unhealthy. And like if you from Central America or the Caribbean and you'll have a big plate of food, half of it is rice. And one of my friends said she just changed it so it's beans and rice instead of rice and beans. So she puts more beans than actual rice.
That's
Did
That's
you take
cool.
those things out of your diet? Like, do you have less rice?
Right. I don't. It's funny because I was one of those people that could sit with a bowl of rice, add
Yes.
some butter, and just eat the bowl of rice. I
Oh,
would sit
wow.
there and watch my movies and kung fu flicks, and I would just sit there and that was my thing. Cartoons, instead of cereal. But now I don't really eat rice at all. I don't.
See?
Yeah, I don't because there's no nutritional value. It's why am I?
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's okay.
Nutrients.
Now, can we're talking about regular old white rice now. Now we got all kinds of rice in this world. We got black rice, we got wild rice, we got brown rice,
Basmati rice.
we got basmati, we got jasmine. So like, I mean, I
Oh,
know
and let me say that. Yeah,
we're
I
talking
don't
about
eat regular
thin,
rice.
rich white rice
Yeah,
with
yeah,
butter, sugar, and
yeah.
salt. No, we should not be eating that
Yeah.
and like a lot. But
Yeah.
they are helpful rices. Like I say, like even something as simple as like your brown rice that is
Right.
very nutrient dense in a good way and a complex carbohydrate that we shouldn't stay away from because it is one of the essential macronutrients.
Thank you, Brandy, for clarifying. Yeah, because it's
Thank you,
white
Brandon.
rice. I don't eat white rice.
White rice.
Yes.
The chef has to step in and let us know.
That's me out here. Between I love my starches. I love me
Yeah.
some potatoes. Rice. I'm like, nope, we're gonna have to clean this up now.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
It's
so
cool. It's cool.
yeah,
It's
sweet
it's a,
Michael.
it's a cool thing to see, and you're constantly evolving and seeing. Like I wasn't really into beans. I'm still not totally, but I love black beans. But like I'm trying to go out to other, try to other tastes and stuff, and I do see the palate's different. Sugar, I can't something that's like I could literally drink something like if this was the drink and that much of sugar, I was okay.
Yeah.
Now I can't do that. Like the
Wonderful,
palate,
because you pushed your sugar palate down.
it's just too much. Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
I'm glad that happened. Unfortunately, some people get diabetes first, and then they're forced to kind of make those changes, which has to be rough. We
Yeah.
talk about diabetes, like you bring it back circle, bring it back. But we talk about diabetes as a thing, it's they need to change it. It's sugar's like a drug.
That's true.
Starch is also like a drug. There's a lot of foods that are just. This is why so much junk food is just starches and sugar, because it's so hard to keep a balance.
It's
But
the
when you,
triad.
yeah,
I'm sorry, I have to. I
Yeah.
gotta jump.
no,
It is the starch. It's the sugar, fat, salt combination, right? So that's
Yeah.
the holy trinity of
right.
poor diets. And if you look at, like you say, processed foods, junk foods, those types of things, they make a point to add unnecessary Like, why do I need sugar and potato chips? You understand, like unnecessary attempts to add fat, sugar, and salt into food to keep us addicted. Now, guys, when we're talking about the whole food originally, no issues. Is once we start to muck it up for sales, that it becomes challenging to digest in our bodies.
Right.
You know?
Right. And I think that that's the bad part with pop culture and big business is that there are certain things in there that sound like it's all good. But then when you see those words that you can't pronounce, and then you see fructose corn syrup, and then you're like, oh, wait a minute, this is really poison. Masking as regular real food just because they threw one or two ingredients that you could recognize and you think is good for you. And that's a huge problem. And my journey is trying to avoid that problem and keep going to the next step. I think the goal is to, for the most part, be just plant-based and to avoid the other things. I still do believe enjoy life, and it's like poison, right? Certain poisons, if you take a piece of it, a little bit of it, like alcohol, it's poison. It is what it is. But New Year's, this and that, you do what you need to do, but when you do it, know what you're doing.
That's true. So you're hashtag plant-based adjacent, just like me, right?
I don't claim.
Plant-based adjacent like me? That just means that you're a pescatarian. You have 2 vegetables with every meal, right?
You can own that.
And it's funny too, I don't eat as much fish as I used to. I could even see in that weaning off.
No, that's wonderful. No, it's really interesting what you're saying, and I understand. And we've all been there, and we're all evolving in our journey. And on that note, we're going to wrap up this episode.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I survived.
Michael and his wonderful journey. He won't claim plant-based adjacent, but I'm working on him.
Yeah.
And until next time, be easy, everyone.
Yes, indeed.
Because again, it goes back to palate, what you grew up with, what you know. And that's the thing that makes it very difficult. Like cheese is one of the hardest things
OMG,
to move away from.
Cheese?
It's just amazing. It's just amazing.
Have you tried, and this right here is like the best Gouda cheese on the market for vegan people. Follow your heart Gouda cheese slices.
The smoked Gouda.
Smoked Gouda. I've introduced those to people who eat cheese and they're like, this is yummy. All right.
What's it called? Follow your heart?
Yes, follow your heart. They need to sponsor us because we always talking about cheese. All right. It's not that it's healthy, it's delicious, it's sliced. So you can put it in different things. Like one of my friends, like I said, she's not a vegan, but she puts it in her eggs in the morning. She was like, this is so delicious. And it is really delicious. Have you tried that brand? Have you heard of that brand?
No.
You need to swap recipes with other people who are on this journey. Like we all need to create a community, just like I reached out to Brandy and she told me about like the Misfits. Have you ever heard of Misfits Market?
No.
Okay. It's like a food service and they drop off organic vegetables to your house. Oh. It's only like $35 to like $50 or whatever you decide, like if it's for one person or 2 people. And you get a whole box of different vegetables and stuff, and that could make it less boring for you.